You finally did it. You stopped waiting for their text. You stopped checking their profile. You started sleeping again. You were healing. And then a message. I miss you. I've been thinking about you. Can we talk? And something inside you, something you thought was finally quiet, woke up again. That is not a coincidence. That is not them finally realizing your worth. That is a tactic, and it has a name: hoovering. It happens at the exact moment you stop needing them. Not before, not randomly. The moment you start moving forward, they appear, like they have a sensor. And in a way, they do. Psychologists call this hoovering, named after the vacuum cleaner, because just like a vacuum, the goal is to pull you back in, to suck you back in. Back into the cycle, back into the confusion, back into a version of yourself you worked so hard to leave behind. This is where the case begins and the pattern starts revealing itself. Sign 1. The timing is never accidental. Think about every time they came back. Were you finally happy? Were you seeing someone new? Had you just posted something that showed you were moving on? That was not a coincidence. A narcissist, a manipulator, a toxic person, they do not return because they changed. They return because their current source of attention is no longer enough. Psychologists call this narcissistic supply depletion, when the attention they rely on starts running out. And when it runs low, they reach back into storage. And storage is you, not because you are weak, but because you were the best source they had, and they know it. Sign 2. They always lead with your weakness. They do not come back with logic. They come back with the exact thing that was hardest for you to resist. If you wanted an apology, they bring an apology. If you needed to feel chosen, they tell you they chose you. If you feared they never loved you, they say you were the only one. This is not a breakthrough. This is research. They spent months, sometimes years, learning exactly where you break, and they walk back in through that exact door every single time. If this feels familiar, keep watching. Sign 3. The return always feels different. This time they seem softer, more aware, more humble, more like the person you always believed they could be. And that feeling, that dangerous, intoxicating feeling, is the most calculated part of all. Psychologists call this the idealization phase reset. They go back to the beginning, back to who they were in the first few months when everything felt electric, safe, and real. They know that version of them is the one you never stopped loving, so they become that person again, just long enough to get you back inside the door. Sign 4. They disappear the moment you return. Pay close attention to this pattern. The calls become less frequent. The warmth starts fading. The person who seemed so changed slowly becomes who they always were, and you are left wondering, what did I do wrong? You did nothing wrong. The performance had a purpose, and that purpose was completed the moment you came back. Researchers describe this as the devaluation return cycle. Hoover, idealize, devalue, discard, and then when you pull away again, hoover. It is not a relationship. It is a loop. And every time you re-enter it, the walls get higher and the exit gets harder to find. Remember that. It becomes important later. Sign 5. They use your healing against you. This is the part that stops people cold. The moment you start therapy, they want to talk about their feelings. The moment you set a boundary, they suddenly respect boundaries. The moment you say you are at peace, they tell you they are broken without you. Your healing threatens their control, so they mirror it. They use the language of growth without doing the work of growth. I've been reflecting. I've changed. You were right about everything. They sound healed without ever doing the healing. These words are not proof of change. They are proof of observation. They watched you grow and learn just enough to pull you back. A person who truly changes shows you over time, not in a message, not in a moment of your weakness. Sign 6. The Hoover works because of what it triggers. Here is the truth most people never hear. You do not go back because you still love them. You go back because of what the contact reactivates inside you. The hope, the memory, the version of yourself you were at the beginning. Psychologists call this a trauma bond reactivation. One message does not just bring them back. It brings back the entire emotional landscape of the relationship. The highs, the potential, the intimacy, all of it flooding back at once. And your nervous system cannot tell the difference between memory and reality. It just feels like maybe this time. That feeling is not love returning. That is a wound being pressed. Sign 7. Silence is your most powerful response. If you are still watching, this is for you. Every response you give, no matter how calm, no matter how controlled, feeds the cycle. Because to someone who hoovers, any response is a signal. It says, I am still reachable. This is why people use the gray rock method. Become uninteresting, become unavailable, give them nothing to work with, not because you are playing a game, but because you understand you are not dealing with someone who responds to reason. You are dealing with someone who responds to supply. And when the supply runs out, so does the hoovering. Silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Sign 8. Every return is information, not an invitation. When they come back, do not hear it as love. Hear it as confirmation that nothing has changed, that the pattern is still there, that the timing, as always, is about them, not you. You are not a person to them in those moments. You are a resource, and resources get used. And the moment you understand that, their return loses its power, because you finally see it for what it really is. The case is clear. They did not come back because they realized your worth. They came back because they ran out of something else. And the most powerful thing you can do is make yourself unavailable, not out of anger, not out of games, but because you finally understand what is actually happening, and you choose yourself instead. The pattern ends the moment you stop answering, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And the next time they come back, you will know exactly why. Save this. Share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe to Mind Unmasked. We unmask what others hide. I will see you in the next one.